Hello students, welcome back to your science class. So students, in the previous class in the chapter that is combustion and flame, we were talking about that of the flame, and we have seen that what are the different kind of flames. Basically, if we talk about the flame students, so flame are of three types, that is luminous flame, non-luminous flame, and these are the two different types of flame. And on the basis of the candle flame, it is also divided into different zones, and that zones are the outermost zone, middle zone, and innermost zone. Talking about the outermost zone, so outermost zone is that which gets sufficient supply of oxygen. And if it is getting a sufficient supply of oxygen, ultimately it will produces blue color. So it is blue in color, students, and because of the presence of the oxygen in it. So if oxygen is present there, then that it will gives a blue color to it. Reason is that sufficient oxygen will help in the process of the complete combustion. And if complete combustion will there, students, we know that in a complete combustion, a lot of heat energy is released. And because of the release of the heat energy from the outermost zone, making it the hottest zone of the flame. Here, since it is showing the complete combustion, it means it does not leave any kind of a residue, students, and that is why it is not very. We can say, we can confirm it that it is a complete combustion, because since it do not leave any residue left behind. So it is blue in color, do not leave residue, and the reason is because of the sufficient amount of oxygen received by it, and due to which it shows a complete combustion. What happened in the middle zone? In the middle zone, students, since it receives a less amount of oxygen, it does not mean that it do not receive, but yes, comparatively to the outermost zone, it receives a less amount of oxygen. And because of that, the color of the flame is yellow color. And the reason is sufficient supply of oxygen. If not there, then that kind of a flame will be the luminous. One more thing, in case of our outermost zone, the kind of a flame is a non-luminous flame. And the reason for non-luminous flame, because blue color is not very bright color. In case of the middle zone, students, partial combustion will take place. It means an incomplete combustion take place due to less amount of oxygen present there. And if less amount of oxygen is there, so yellow color flame of the flame is seen to us, and yellow, it is brighter, so that is why it is a luminous flame. Now since amount of oxygen is less, so ultimately partial combustion will take place, and finally it will leave some residue, and that residue is in the form of soot. So we can say here that in case of the middle zone, residue is left behind. Finally, the innermost zone, students. So in case of an innermost zone, here we can say that this is that zone which do not receive oxygen. It do not receive oxygen at all. And since it do not receive oxygen, it is black in color. It means it do not produce any kind of a light from it. Okay, so it is not producing light, and reason is no oxygen, so no support of combustion, so combustion cannot take place here. Obviously, if it is not giving any kind of a flame, so such will be a non-luminous, and there is no chance of residue also. So this is what, student, this is the three zone of a candle flame. After that, we have seen that flame happens when a fire occurs, and what are the reasons by which a fire occurs, students? Absolutely, the process of the combustion can occur because of some necessary conditions, and if we want to extinguish a fire, we should see that if any of the three necessities are not there, if the three essential conditions are not there, is not fulfilled, then fire will get extinguished. So what was the first condition which is important for it, and that is presence of a combustible substance that support combustion. It means if there is no combustible substance or absence of a combustible substance, that will help in extinguishing fire, or actually we can say that no fire will take place there. Second one is the supporter of oxygen. Obviously, if the oxygen is there, then a combustion process can take place. So, if we cut the supply of oxygen, so the combustion process will also not occur. The fire can be extinguished. So, because of that, you have seen the people, they used to wrap it with blanket or throw sand, or even carbon dioxide is also extinguisher is also used there. Reason is it covers a layer on the surface on the fire, and due to which the supply of the oxygen get cut off with the atmosphere, and ultimately fire get extinguished. Third one is the ignition temperature. So we have seen that if it will get the minimum ignition temperature, then the combustion process will take place. Here, if the ignition temperature is less, and if we are not applying or we are not giving that sufficient temperature so that combustion can take place, or if we lower the ignition temperature, that will also help in extinguishing fire. So basically we can say here that out of any three, if not there, condition do not fulfill the combustion, ultimately fire will be extinguished. Okay, now there are some other methods also to extinguish fire. So let us see what are that methods. So some methods to extinguish fire. Some method to extinguish fire. The first one is by pouring water. By pouring water. Okay. So the first one is by pouring water, students. Absolutely, what water will do? Generally we know that water is what very good conductor of electricity, of heat. So how it will help in extinguishing fire? So basically it helps in lowering down the ignition temperature. So we have seen that pouring water is the most common. It is the most common method used to extinguish fire. Used to extinguish fire. Okay. Basically what happened? Water brings the temperature to lowers down. So water brings the temperature of the burning substance below its ignition temperature. Below its ignition temperature. So water brings the temperature of the burning substance below its ignition temperature and hence extinguish the fire. Extinguish the fire. Okay, so water basically helps in lowering down the temperature of the burning substance. It helps in lowering down the ignition temperature, and finally that will help in extinguishing the fire. Okay, obviously student, I told you here that okay, it will help in lowering the temperature, but this is not good to use the water, because the water, it is we can say that because if it is an electric fire, or if it is a burning oil, so that there, because water is a very good conductor of heat and electricity, so there it can give shock. Okay, so instead of extinguishing fire, it can make the fire to become higher. So that's why we can say that, okay, it helps in reducing the temperature due to it is there to extinguish fire. But there are some of the drawbacks are there, and that are that is water should never be used. Water should never be used to extinguish fire. To extinguish fire. Water can never be used to extinguish fire caused by burning oil, or electrical fire. Electrical fires. Reason is, that is, oil are lighter than water. So, even then when we will add the water, we will pour the water, the oil will again come over it and it will continue to burn. Okay, so they float on the surface of water. They float on the surface of water and continue to burn. So even then, when we pour water, this oil will come over it, it will float on it and it will continue to burn. Now, next one is that water, it is a good conductor of heat and electricity. So, water is a good conductor of electricity. Water is a good conductor of electricity. So if water is poured on an electric fire, it may result in shock. It may result in electric shock. It may result in electric shock. Okay, so first method is by pouring water. Second method is by throwing sand. This is very good method, students, because when we throw sand, what will happen? It will cover a layer on the surface of the fire. Now, this layer will cut off the supply of oxygen and finally the fire will get extinguished. So, the second method is by throwing sand. By throwing sand. By throwing sand. So here, throwing sand on a burning substance. On a burning substance. On a burning substance is another method. Is another method used to put out fire. Used to put out fire. It is used to put out fire. Sand cover the fire. Covers the fire and cut the supply of oxygen. And cut the supply of oxygen. Cut the supply of oxygen to the burning substance. To the burning substance. To the burning substance, students. Okay? To the burning substance. So if we will throw sand on the burning substance, obviously it will help in cutting off the supply of oxygen, and that will ultimately help in extinguishing fire. So this is also another kind of a method by which we can easily extinguish fire. Then the next method is by using a fire extinguisher. You see that these days everywhere, even in an office, home, people use fire extinguisher that can be used in a fire condition. Is by using a fire extinguisher. This is the next method. By using a fire extinguisher. By using a fire extinguisher. Fire extinguisher is a device to control the or to extinguish the fire. Okay. So fire extinguisher is what, student? It is a kind of a device which help in extinguishing the fire. Okay. Basically, what happened when it discharges? So it discharge a spray of a water, foam is there, a gas is there, as well as a chemicals are also present into extinguish the fire. So the most common fire extinguisher is used is soda acid extinguisher. What happened in the soda acid fire extinguisher? It consisting of a sodium bicarbonate as well as sulfuric acid, and these two are in a separate compartment. Sodium bicarbonate and sulfuric acid. When you press it, that is, when we will use it, then these two compartments, they mix to each other at that particular moment. Okay, and these substances come in contact with each other and it produces a fountain of a carbon dioxide with a great pressure, and we know that carbon dioxide help in extinguishing fire. So this is how the fire extinguisher work. So at first we will write here that a fire extinguisher is a device used. It is a device used to extinguish or control small fire. Control small fire. Okay, it controls small fire. Next is that it discharge a spray of water, discharges a spray of water, foam, a gas or a chemical, to extinguish a fire, Okay, so whenever we will discharge, it will discharge a spray of water, foam is there, gas or a chemical is present inside it that will help in extinguishing fire. And the most common fire extinguisher, is soda acid fire extinguisher. Soda acid fire extinguisher. Okay, basically it is a device which helps in removing and controlling the small fires, and the most common one is the soda acid fire extinguisher. Now let us see that what are the things are there in it. That is the soda acid fire extinguisher. So, a soda acid fire extinguisher, consists of sodium bicarbonate and sulfuric acid in different compartment. Sodium bicarbonate and sulfuric acid in different compartment. And when it is used, these two mixes or come in contact with each other. These two come in contact with each other, and produce a fountain of carbon dioxide with a great pressure. That will help in extinguishing fire, which extinguish fire. Okay, so this is how we can extinguish fire. First one, students, we have seen by pouring water in it. Okay, so when we pour water, that will help also in lowering the ignition temperature. Although that is not a good idea to use, because we know that water is water. The water is a very good conductor of electricity, and ultimately that will give a path for the electric current to flow through it, and that will give an electric shock. Second one is by throwing sand, that will help in cut off the oxygen, and ultimately that will help in extinguishing fire. And finally, use a fire extinguisher. Moving on, and we will see fuels. Fuels are also of a different types. That is solid fuel, liquid fuel and gaseous fuel. So, let us write a fuel. What do we understand by fuel? Fuel is the substance which produces energy on burning. So, fuel is a substance which produces energy, on burning, On the basis of their physical appearance, we have classified them into three, that is solid fuel, liquid fuel and gaseous fuel. Let us see the first one, and that is solid fuel. What is a solid fuel, students? So the fuel which remain in the solid form at a room temperature. Which remains solid at a room temperature is called solid fuel. Examples of the solid fuel: residue is there, ashes is there, coal is there, cow dung cake is there, students. So we can write here example: coke, coal, cow dung, ash, cow dung cake, student, not cow dung ash, cow dung cake, cow dung cakes, then charcoal, wood, etc. Okay, these are some of the example of the solid fuel here. One more thing is there, the solid fuel always leave residue after burning. Residue after burning. So we can say that it leaves ash. It leaves ashes or residue. Okay, it leaves ash or residue, students. Okay, so this is for the solid fuel. Here another kind of a fuel is there, and that is called as liquid fuel. Now let us try to understand that what are the different kind of a liquid fuel is there. Obviously the definition will remains the same, students, that the fuel which exists or which remains in a liquid state at a room temperature is called as a liquid fuel. Okay, which remain as a liquid state is called as a liquid fuel. Example, that is petrol, kerosene. So kerosene, petrol, diesel. Okay, diesel. That are some of the examples of the liquid fuel, students. Obviously the liquid fuels here, it varies, means some of them they leave residue, other they do not. So we can write here that it do not leave any residue. Any residue. It do not leave any residue after burning, after combustion. Okay.